morning, everybody. This is Kathy Mason from MasonWorks Marketing here on Conscious Business Zone on the first day of February 2022. Wow, at 2222222. Anyway, with my dear friends Andi and Jonathan Goldman. Hi, guys.
Hello, Kathy.
Hi, Kathy.
Oh, so I am so glad to be here with you, and I'm so excited to hear all about what's going on with World Sound Healing Day 2022. But first, I want to make sure that everyone understands what a delight these two people are in my life and how much I love them. I want you to know that these people are pioneers with bringing back ancient knowledge about the way really this whole 3D Earth planet system works through frequency and sound. And back in 1982, Jonathan actually started, I think in 82, the World Sound Healing Association, which right now, this year is the 20th anniversary. Oh, wrong year?
No, you're right. You just reminded me that the Sound Healers Association was started on February 14th of 1982. So this is the 40th year of the Sound Healers Association.
Oh my gosh.
And the 20th year of World Sound Healing Day. Oh my God.
But both of them started on February 14th.
Valentine's Day. I forgot.
It's so perfect. So that is so divinely inspired. You can't make this stuff up, you guys. But but the idea that you saw that long ago, after the 60s, after the revolution and everything, and then we went back to sort of this normalcy, you still kept going on the expansiveness and the capacity for us to heal ourselves and be empowered. So with that, I'm getting chills. Thank you so much, you guys, for being here. Tell us what you want to share.
Oh, Kathy, thank you so much for having us on today, because we are so excited and happy to share all that we can about sound and sound healing. And I'm going to let Jonathan start, because he is the one who started the Sound Healers Association 40 years ago. Wow. And then he and I created 20 years ago World Sound Healing Day.
What's the question?
Well, let's put it this way. I think we want to talk about whatever you feel is going to be uplifting to humanity in this huge time of change. I mean, a year ago when we interviewed, we said, "Oh, where's change?" Now it's like 2 years into this, and we really need this loving support and the opportunity to be empowered.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for your awareness. I want to say that for a real long time, in the beginning was the word. So people have realized the power of sound as a healing and transformational modality for a really long time. But particularly, you're right, in the last couple of years, and indeed sound as a healing modality is really beginning to make it in the mainstream. We did an interview yesterday where they were just like, wow, it's kind of like where yoga was 10 years ago. And nowadays there's a yoga studio on every street corner. And we say, this is what a blessing. And I want to first acknowledge my beloved wife, Andi, who is not only a great partner in sound healing, but she's also a fabulous psychotherapist. You remember the song, Still Crazy After All These Years? Which is what keeps us going. Because, if you start getting into the idea of sound healing, then the very concept is just an enormous, divine, quantum natured phenomena, and you realize the possibilities. And we have, particularly working with Andi, lots of different techniques and ways that people can, shall we say, shift the vibrations. And she is a master of shifting your emotional vibrations, particularly. So, together we make quite a team. Thank you,
Oh,
Andi.
thank you, Jonathan.
Oh, I want a relationship like you guys when I grow up. Anyway,
So, real quick, there are two different ways that sound affects us. And if you like, heals us, or, you can have opposite ends, but mostly we focus on the healing and the positive ends. And the first one is called psychoacoustics. That's where the sound goes into your ear, into your brain, affects your nervous system, your heart rate, your blood pressure, your brain waves. And the other one is called
The other one is vibroacoustics, and that is where the sound actually goes right into our bodies at a cellular level. So when we're vibrating our actual bodies, that's vibroacoustics. And Kathy, what you were just saying earlier is that, this is a time where we really want to remind people of their own inner power. They have the power within themselves to shift and change that stress level, that level of depression. We know that on our planet right now, it is a very challenging time. And so to be able to know that you can empower yourself through your own sound, and that's what we want to talk about today, is giving people some tips in terms of, how can I shift out of this stress? What can I do? I'm so depressed all day. Wait a minute. What can I do? And so, what Jonathan was just sharing with psychoacoustics, you can listen to healing music. Vibroacoustics, you can use your own voice.
Just want to suggest, and this is not a pitch for anything, but I have found out that from a lot of people, there are different streaming vehicles like Spotify, Amazon, Apple Music, etc. And you can simply go play Jonathan Goldman. And I would like to suggest that most of my music is really good for stress reduction, relaxation. Why? Because I create it for myself first. If it works for me, it'll probably work for you.
And I want to say too that with Jonathan's music, what he was just talking about with psychoacoustics, where it goes in through your auditory pathways up into your brain, it affects your nervous system, your heart rate, your respiration. And listening is a very easy, very effective way to begin to bring in healing vibrations and healing frequencies.
Beautiful, yeah.
perfect.
So that's just one. And then, of course, we have our fabulous self-created sounds. Also, obviously, all sorts of different, we call them sonic tools for transformation, like this wonderful Tibetan bowl, or we have tuning forks.
See if you can make it.
Here, let's
We
see if
don't
this
know if
goes.
it'll
We
work
don't
or
know.
not, but
Okay, sure.
And that's an example. You just hold that around. Or if I were to
Your tuning fork.
reach down and grab a set of tuning forks, what do I have here? Oh, these are going to sound really interesting, but tuning forks like this.
Wow.
put them around my ears. And yeah.
Will it make me taller?
Mm-hmm. Kathy, I'm going to make me taller. We're going to work with our tuning forks.
Okay, yeah.
It'll help me grow hair.
And you know what? I just want to add laughter. Laughter is such a beautiful way to shift our energy. I love that.
And actually, I know of people who've used sound for hair growth. Has not been a major focus of my consciousness, so it's something that I've sort of ignored. And I guess, look, I grew. Yeah, I went from here to here. The hair to America and whatnot. But I said, okay, but anyway, life is.
My dad would have loved that.
Except
he said
here,
grass didn't grow on a busy street.
and I was just writing a little addition to the 30th anniversary of my very first book, Healing Sounds. And I was talking about how in Germany, I was doing a presentation on sound and on vocal harmonics. And they addressed me as Hair Dr. Goldman. They
Oh,
thought I was and I laughed. I said, wow, a hair doctor. Okay, yeah, I need to be. But see, my brother was a hair doctor. So,
oh, that's great.
but, we've got just all sorts of techniques for using sound. And particularly, Andy will probably take over for the moment. And we're going to talk about right now, our favorite, if you like, sound is the hum. And we've talked about the hum before, but we can't talk enough about the hum because it's really growing. More and more people are really beginning to get it. And for ourselves, it is, people say, do you have a sound healing practice that you do for yourself? And yeah, we do a lot of different things, tuning forks, bowls, bells, different harmonic invocations, but we have a daily humming practice. And that's part of it is actually covered not only in our book, The Humming Effect, but also in our book, Chakra Frequencies.
And Kathy, the chakra frequencies, and over here we have the humming effect. There we go.
There you go.
And did the Vanna White thing now. Well, the thing is I think that this is ancient knowledge that we've forgotten. The idea that everything is frequency, and this physical is being projected from the non-physical frequencies, and that we could actually affect it, the physical. I mean, that ancient cultures knew that. That's why drumming circles, that's why you have singing and dancing. I mean, they didn't pray stoically, sitting quietly on a pew. They were cruising.
And moving. And Kathy, one of the things that I know that we talked about just at the beginning, it might have even been before off camera, but it's to remind people that they can make a difference in their physical, emotional, mental, spiritual bodies. And I know that we have talked about humming, on your show and many times. However, it's a reminder that something as simple as the sound of your own humming can truly, in a very short period of time, help you to shift and change your frequency.
That's great. Well, I know all of our Boulder people loved being together with you guys at the Avalon. I don't even know when we'll get to do that again. But
I want to mention that I have reserved our room at the Avalon for 2023.
Yay!
February 14th. So I reserved it as a statement to the universe that we will all be there in person next year.
Perfect. Well, what happened is that people around the world, there were people that were involved in your association that knew about World Sound Healing Day. But I think now, as of last year, we got the word out a lot further because of the lockdown, that people had lots of different events all over the world. I know that one of my clients had something in Hawaii. And so do you want to talk about that too, about how it's actually started to multiply?
Well, if we can perceive of the lemonade out of lemons phenomena, then we were last year guided to really make a lot of these events that were occurring by themselves live, and there's nothing like being live, but if you like, through the wonderful magic of the internet, whether it's Zoom, StreamYard, or any of the multifoliate different Facebooks, YouTube, if people could do different events on February 14th, then we could literally share that. And we had hundreds of different events that affected thousands and thousands of different people. And once again, we would like to suggest to anyone who's interested, just go to worldsoundhealingday.org. www.worldsoundhealingday.org. And there's some nice information there, but also ways that you can either create an event or attend an event. And I was just there this morning, and it's been getting a lot of traffic of people checking things. And I don't know if we have 50 or 80 events already, but I would like to suggest that in the next couple of weeks, there'll be over 200, maybe 300 or 400 different events that are happening, and they're wonderful. And what we did when we created the original World Sound Healing Day, we thought that we would basically do an ah sound, which is a wonderful sound. It's a sound from the heart. Ah, at 12 noon New York time. Beautiful idea. And I love the idea of having a coherence at that level. The trouble is, number one, it's really New York eccentric. Somebody in Hong Kong is going to have a little problem there. And also, if you didn't want to use an ah, if you wanted to do something else, it would be a little restrictive. So what we've done is we've really understood that number one, time and space are simply awareness of the lower mind. As you get into all that is, you realize that everything's happening simultaneous. So if it's happening anytime during that day, it's good. And we basically said, okay, any sound. It can be a bowl, it can be a bell, it can be a tuning fork, it can be a guitar, it can be a banjo, it can be a hum, it can be drums, it can be whatever you like, as long as it's made with the intention and the energy of compassion, appreciation, gratitude.
And in fact, Kathy, that was the whole premise of creating World Sound Healing Day. We wanted to take our sound and be able to encode it with the intention of loving kindness, of healing, appreciation, gratitude for our planet Earth and for all sentient beings. And so whatever sounds were made with that intention, that was what we were putting out there. And it was interesting because as Jonathan was saying, over time, since this is our 20th year, it has evolved. And we have gone from, okay, let's do it at 12 o'clock noon, New York. Let's just do it anytime, anywhere during the day, because it's going to ring throughout the planet. And so now that it's 20 years later, and because of COVID and the lockdowns, we created a portal on worldsoundhealingday.org that people can go to. That portal. They can attend any group, or they can facilitate and post their link on the portal.
And they're all
The exciting part is that you're really having participation at such a much higher level, the way that this is all evolved. And you can feel the joy of it. You can really feel we're at a precipice. We're turning the corner to a new earth. And we have to, well, we want to support each other with love and creativity to find this new expression, because the old expression has got to go. It didn't work well. It didn't work well for everyone. It worked well for a few.
Kathy, if I can just share, I was going to go into the science behind this but I want to tell you a story first.
Okay.
And you are aware of this because you were in this area. The day before New Year's, we had 100-mile-per-hour winds, which created apocalyptic fires, which then brought in blessedly a snowstorm, a blizzard to end it. And it was like crazy. And we lost, when we moved into our house 25 years ago, we planted a small little blue spruce. Oh. And it had grown to a beautiful 40-foot protector of our place. And during the wind, it laid down like a matchstick. And it was kind enough not to take out the fence, the koi pond, or our house. But it would, and we were broken hearted.
We were so sad. Oh, so sad.
And the next day, I went into a very, very deep state of meditation. And basically what I got was the Earth Mother is really hurting now. This is an indication of the Earth Mother really being hurt. And we need events like World Sound Healing Day to bring positive energy to our planet. And I realize that now more than ever, events such as World Sound Healing Day were not only mandatory, they had to be, because it wasn't just a good idea, they were mandatory.
Well, it makes total sense that we're this time period where we realize we aren't the owners of the earth. We're part of the earth, and what we've done to her, we do to us. I mean, the indigenous said seven, any decision you make, look at 7 generations. Well, pretty soon you're going to have that many generations in this work. But when you think about it, this is an opportunity for us to reconnect to our divine connection to the earth, and then support her in every way possible, her, him, it, and ourselves.
Mm.
Plus, it's fun.
Pardon me?
Plus, it's fun.
Oh, well, that's what I was just going to say. Kathy, thank you. You must have been reading my thoughts, because I was just going to mention that you said a magic word just before we went into this story, and that was that there's a lot of joy at World Sound Healing Day, and there's upliftment for people when they participate at whatever level, and so that joy is really, from our perspective, a very important element in shifting and changing and holding that positivity. And so, and Kathy, thank you for helping us to spread the word.
Totally.
Because it's programs like this and your support. Thank you, because it has just exponentially gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, and because of last year especially. So this year we're just putting it out to the universe, to Mother Earth. You're going to receive so much healing on February 14th. Yeah.
It's so perfect. The joyous coming together is so important right now anyway, to really be looking at what we have gratitude for, rather than this overactive critical mind that's been been nurtured, I would say, the past year or so. This opportunity to rest and really find not just the peace, but the bliss inside the peace. I think that's what you're really offering people, and for us to find each other again.
Can we backtrack for just a moment? I'm still raring to go in terms of the science of this whole thing as a global event, but we want to talk about personal healing for just a moment, because everybody's so darn stressed out. I think, number one, we're all going too fast, and when you start going too fast, you start perhaps not being as conscious, and you start making errors a little bit, because I can see that with stuff going on, including myself, and it's like, by God, let's slow down a little bit. And one thing we like to suggest is that you do a little conscious humming. And we are going to get with the science of conscious humming for just a minute, because when you do this, there are all sorts of things that go on. Andi, what are just a couple of them?
Physiological benefits are just so important when we are humming. Our blood pressure is lowered. Our heart rate is lowered. Our respiration is brought into balance. There are many hormones that are emitted, such as melatonin. And the one that I really love is oxytocin, which is the trust hormone. And so when we are humming, we have that sense, that feeling of, what, things are going to be okay. And of course, nitric oxide, that's the big deal.
This is one that for me has been very, very interesting. You get the release when you hum. And when you hum, there's only one caveat. You need to close your lips. If you're going, it's not a hum, it's And also, we call it conscious humming, because you're not doing zippity doo-dah, which is great, but you're just doing one tone. And what happens then is you get, among other things, an incredible vibroacoustic effect that creates the release of nitric oxide in your nasal cavities. Well, I just came across a 50-page abstract from the Karolinska Institute, which was done many years ago, but it's just manifesting now. And this is a Nobel Prize winning medical institute in Stockholm. And basically showing that when you hum, you get the release of nasal nitric oxide, which is really good for sinusitis and all sorts of other critters that initially lodge themselves in the nasal cavity. And you can read between the lines about possibly how this may be helpful as a preventative therapy in the flu season, for want of a better term. So it's just something that I want people to know. And the way that you most properly do this is simply you do 4 or 5 hums, and then you wait for about 2 or 3 minutes, because that's the time it takes for the nitric oxide to regenerate in the cellular level in your nasal cavity before you hum again. And, you might want to do this a few times a day. It seems to be really good. It's great for clearing out your sinus cavities. When I was talking about that, the hair Dr. Goldman thing in Germany, I was actually teaching a workshop on nasal sounding. And I said, we call this, back then I didn't know about this stuff. I just had experienced it. So I made a joke and I said, we call this sonic dristan. Nobody laughed because I realized that in Germany, they didn't have dristan.
Well, they probably didn't. They probably didn't have the same sense of humor anyway.
And what I want to say is that when you do what Jonathan was just sharing with the nitric oxide that is emitted when we hum for 4 or 5 times, and then we are in silence and we rest for 2 or 3 minutes, or just enough time to regenerate that nitric oxide. But that's great for the nasal cavity. However, it is also wonderful for reducing stress and for releasing that, all of that fatigue and that resentment and that anger and all this stuff that people really, in the depression, all of that stuff that people are feeling now. And when they go into that moment of silence, that's where the shift and changes deep within us begin to occur. So even something as simple as humming 4 or 5 times and then resting, that is going to really help.
So just to reiterate again, you hum on just one tone that feels comfortable to you. If you can, sit up straight and maybe have your eyes closed and be in a place where you're not going to be disturbed. You do it. Then you take another nice deep breath. You do this a few more times, and then you be in silence. And even doing those 2 hums, actually, I could feel it change my nervous system. It was that powerful, not fast.
And I wanted to keep going because I was feeling, even in that brief moment, really centered. And I went, oh my gosh. So hopefully our listeners maybe could join us for that moment.
Hum along with you guys.
Right. And listen, I'm going to share that in chakra frequencies. We have a couple of tools, particularly, in relationship. And, we're not trying to sell the book, but there's some really good information in it.
It's a great book, you guys. And it's got a CD in the back.
And the idea is that, for example, if you hum or om or whatnot, incidentally, the om came from the hum. We have that in the humming effect here from the Yoga Sutras. Patanjali's Yoga Sutras translation. This is Goldman's words, but it's basically the original sound of creation was pranava, the humming of prana. They had to give it a name, so they called it Om. So whether you would do an om or a hum or whatnot, if you make a sound together, if and you're and I learned this literally from Andi, but it was just a great thing.
Oh, if you make a sound together, it really will shift your energy. For instance, if you are in a place of agitation or anxiety and like you're not connecting with your partner,
So,
if ahead of time, way before that happens, you could make that contract of, hey, if we get into this place, one of us please have the presence of mind to say, let's make a sound together. And so if we are in that place, we can go, even when we don't want to do that because we're so filled with anxiety or frustration, but we do it. And honestly, we've done this many times, and within a few minutes, it's like, wait a minute, what was I really upset about?
You get the
I don't remember.
You get the release of oxytocin. There's a phenomena called entrainment, which means that your nervous systems begin to vibrate together. And it is just so powerful because the first response we have when we're ticked off at somebody is to start screaming at them. The use of sound as a negative entity, because we encode our intention upon the sound. So we can do it with love and kindness, or we can do it with anger and fear. And you do that and it's just going to escalate. You can, though, negate the anger and fear simply with some very chill sounds of love and gratitude.
Yeah. And yeah. And I want to just mention once again that we have within us the tools to empower ourselves. And Kathy, one of the things that I love to do, if I could do that, we have a quote on the back of our book, The Humming Effect, from Bruce Lipton, who wrote The Power of Belief. And what I love to do is read the quote on the back because it really speaks to what we're talking about right now. And he says, I highly recommend the humming effect for all those impacted by the stress of the modern world. It is a powerful, non-pharmaceutical prescription for self-healing that has only positive side effects, such as harmony, health, and happiness. And I think that, just to, take that little bit in, it could possibly encourage people to begin to start humming to empower themselves to shift and change.
And Bruce wrote The Biology of Belief, which is a wonderful book, really powerful and important work on how our fields affect our biology. All right, we're going to be talking about fields now, jumping into World Sound Healing Day for just a moment, just because I know we have a limited amount of time. We could talk for hours about this.
Of course.
Okay, there's a wonderful place called HeartMap that many people know about, and they have basically shown that the heart and the brain and the heart, both create electromagnetic fields. Science knows this. But what they found is that when the heart and the brain are in a state of coherence, field that is created is anywhere from 50 times to 500 to even 5,000 times greater than normal. And what does it take to go into coherence, Andi?
To hold the intention of positive thoughts and to feel a sense. Feeling is important, a sense of appreciation, gratitude, loving kindness, compassion, and to really feel all of that. And that puts us in coherence between our heart and our brain, which expands our heart's magnetic field and helps to connect with all the loving energy. Now, the thing that we do, and Jonathan.
So we add the element of sound. And if you think about it, the different prayers on our planet are vocalized, or they're at least sounded instrumentally. They're whispered, chanted, spoken, sung, or played. And that's because sound amplifies the power of our prayer and it helps focus the energy. So we haven't done measurements yet on how much more, but it might be astronomical. And literally the idea then is that individually we can collectively work together and create a field that interfaces with what we call the Gaia Matrix, the field of consciousness of our beloved Earth Mother, and create positive shift and change. And we need that now more than ever.
And we need that more than ever. And something else that we need more than ever is to feel a connection with other people and to feel there is a sense of community out there for each one of us. And that's the other thing that World Sound Healing Day provides. It is an opening for people to connect and to feel that they belong and that they have a community that they can connect with. And so we hope that World Sound Healing Day offers that to everyone.
We invite anyone who's watching this or who will be watching us, at any point, to go to worldsoundhealingday.org on February 14th, or even check it out beforehand, because there's all sorts of really cool stuff that's listed. And you can go, oh, wow, I want to have, sample a little potpourri here and do this, or just bathe yourself in some sort of frequency of love and light through sound. And it's really cool because, as Andi and I like to say, we heal the planet.
We heal ourselves.
We heal ourselves.
And we heal the planet.
Well, I think the other thing that's wonderful when you go to worldsoundhealingday.org is that you see the creativity of all the different participations, because each person is welcome to express World Sound Healing Day in the way that they want with their community online. So you have a variety that may be pretty new and different. There isn't a wrong way to do it. So rather than some of the traditional religions and the structured systems, this is pretty creative, wouldn't you say?
Oh, thank
yeah.
you for that, Kathy. Oh, I love that
And
you said that.
we're not doing it as a summit or a festival.
Right, yeah.
It's sort of a sonic free-for-all for anyone with love and light through sound in their hearts that they want to share. And we every type of sound, even spoken word, guided meditation. We've got award-winning poets doing their thing, as long as it's done with the energy of gratitude and compassion. Then it's a good sound. You can even sit there, if you want to just beam out what they call silent sound. That's cool. Gurus do that all the time. You walk into the presence of a sitting guru in a room, and everybody's in a state of bliss because they're projecting silent sound to the entire field of those around and those greater.
That's great. So this year, is it on every continent in the world?
Don't know if it's happening in Antarctica.
Oh, okay. Oh, but they're welcome to join us.
We've got to speak to some penguins,
Penguins.
But Kathy, every year we've been amazed. I mean, we've had over 50, 60, 70 countries represented, and we have a map of the world. And so when a group is linked up, the little light shines on our map. And so people can see all the different places on the planet where sound is happening. And we just encourage people to become a sonic activist by joining World Sound Healing Day.
And there are also, as I've found out, there are particular other organizations and websites that are projecting their own thing that haven't posted there, which is fine. Because, we just do that as a phenomena. But let this be a global, planetary, shifting phenomena. I like to say it's vibrational medicine for Mother Earth.
Oh, it's so perfect, and so aware. The opportunity for us to come together with one solid thought form that is going to guide us to this new future that we want is what I'm so excited about. And I just appreciate you guys so much. And all these years that I've been going to the live one, and then last year get to help you get the word out some more. I just love what you do. I love you guys so much. And the opportunity is now. This is this is not a time for us to hide or play the waiting game and wait and see. This is the opportunity for us to stand up and really be empowered, and then show others, show our children, show our grandchildren, show our employees, show the world what the difference is when you work together as a coherent, loving spirit rather than the contrast.
And we'd like to also thank you for having at the bottom of this page,
Yes.
the healingsounds.com is a fabulous website. It's an award-winning website, and it's really designed more for personal healing. Now, of course, you can find stuff about World Sound Healing Day there, but healingsounds.com's got all sorts of free stuff that you can download, that you can find information, articles.
Yeah, one of the things that I did want to mention as a tool to help people, we have got a free 7-minute chakra tune-up, and I encourage people to, it's 7 minutes, and you just tone each one of your chakras with a particular sound, vowel sound, and that can help enormously to bring us into balance.
And believe it or not, there are millions and millions, many millions of people who have taken advantage of that and use it on a daily basis as well. We give thanks. It's our gift to the planet.
That's right. And you've got a front row seat in heaven because of all this, in my opinion. But I think it's also, it's just the insight and the intuition that you've had all these years, even 20 years ago, for you to decide, hey, let's all get together and decide to be in coherence on World Sound Healing Day. That's one thing. But then to have the Sound Healing Association back 40 years ago, when people probably thought that was pretty woo-woo, you were pretty far in as a frontiers person. You were probably one of the first to bring that the ancient knowing into Western culture.
Well, thank you. And it is, and we are just, we are all co-creators, and that's the secret. Doing good feels good. Being of service feels good. And you can have fun at the same time. It's very joyous. Make a joyful sound unto the divine, if you like, a paraphrasing of the thing. So, let's all do it.
And I'd like to use the terminology global harmonization.
Beautiful.
World Sound Healing Day can bring us into that global harmony.
That's so beautiful. And each one of us is a universe. And then when we quantum, we create a quantum resonance like that with all of us. We come into the same hologram together with that. Wow. Wow. That's what we came here for. I mean, we stood in lines to get these bodies to be
That's
here
right.
now during this crazy change. So, thank you. So people are saying, love the website. So happy to have joined this conversation. Thank you, Sean. So yes, thank you. And please share, everyone that's on this call with us, please share, because this is really a gift to humanity. And bless you guys. So I love you so much, and I'm so proud to be helping you in any way I can to get the word out. And I'm going to hum a bunch after we're off.
And Kathy, last thing, this has been always a grassroots phenomena. And the reason for that is we as a collective energy form can do amazing things just by ourselves. I don't need to say read in between the lines, but this is a self-empowered, self-generated phenomena. So we give thanks.
And Kathy, we give such great thanks for you, and we love you back. And honored to be here with you.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, again, as you can see, it's not just about healing and vitality, which of course we all want that, but this is also about joy. We want to bring the joy virus back. Uh,
Yes.
and so humming, it whistle while you work, humming, that kind of whole thing. Let's bring that back. Let's make that a priority in our day rather than the other, and see what world we create.
Mm. We have
Yes,
a choice, Kathy, and we can make a difference. Each one of
that's
us.
right.
Yes.
Mm.
So one more time, let's make sure that everybody has all the ways that they can participate with you, and we want to make sure that we have a way for them to contact you if they want to. Jonathan and Andy, what are our best ways to play with you?
If they want to play with us or just contact us, go to the Healing
He
Sounds
sounds, yeah.
website, and there's a way to do contact. It goes through our wonderful office manager, Alex Sims, who's just the
Just
best.
fabulous.
And
Fabulous.
we would like to suggest that World Sound Healing Day is just, if you like, it's a phenomena that we trust more and more people will resonate with every year, because together, indeed, we can make a
Mhm.
difference with our light, our love, and our sound.
Yes.
Perfect, perfect. And World Sound Healing Day 2022 is February 14th, Valentine's Day, and it's a gift you can give yourself as your own Valentine to yourself, to your community, to your world, and everything in creation.
We
Mm.
send a sonic Valentine to the Gaia Matrix, our Mother Earth.
Oh.
What a blessing.
Blessings of love and light through sound to
Yeah.
everyone.
Oh, okay. So everyone, please go to worldsoundhealingday.org and also go to healingsounds.com so that you can see all the incredible generosity that Andy and Jonathan have bestowed upon us, and take advantage. That's what it's there for. We need multipliers. Please, please, please help us get it out.
Mm.
Okay. Anything else? I don't want to go, but
Oh, just many, many
oh,
thanks
oh, thank you. Thank
and
you.
gratitude.
Oh, we'll see you soon. I'm sure.
Oh,
I'm sure. I'm sure. I'm sure. Thank
yes.
you all so much.
Lots
Love,
of love,
love. Thank
Kathy.
you. Thank you. Bless you so much.
Mm.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.